And what is up, broskies and broskets? Yeah, I can't talk today. So welcome to the Sloppy Syndicate show. I am your host, White Trash Donnie. So this is version 2 of having Cody Weaver on the show, all because I did not hit one correct button on the new deck. So, hey, don't laugh at me, all right? Stop it. So let's bring Cody Weaver in, the Florida country music sensation himself. And there we go.
Hey,
All right,
Donnie.
everyone, give it up. Calm down. All right. Hey, that's enough. That's enough. All right. So, welcome back to the show, version 2, Mr. Cody Weaver. Thanks for rescheduling with me due to my button error that I missed. And we got it all figured out, and we are golden at the moment.
Yeah,
So,
no
folks in
problem,
the
bro.
chat, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to throw those in the chat box, and we will get Cody to answer some of those questions. We also have a game we're going to play a little bit later called What the Fuck? So just some random questions that Cody's going to be put on the spot and he has to answer. So that should be a little bit entertaining. So Cody, go ahead and let the listeners know a little bit about yourself. He is the Florida man, the Florida country music sensation, Florida man Cody Weaver, in my opinion. So let them know a little bit more about you.
Yeah, I consider myself the unofficial Florida man spokesperson, but I'm fourth generation here. My family's been in rural Fort Myers area, the like Buckingham area, since the late 1800s, doing citrus and cattle farming mainly, and they owned a marina. So yeah, a lot of roots here. The area is not what it used to be now. It's kind of more of a tourist and vacation destination now. But yeah, we still have some country roots over here, and we like good country music.
All right. And so, fourth generation, did you have any musical influence in the family previously, or are you first generation musical artist?
My mom was a pretty good country singer, and she had a little bit of a career when I was a kid. But other than that, and my mom hasn't been in my life in a long time. So other than that, no, it's been something that I wanted to do. Maybe she sparked that in me when I was a young kid, but yeah, it's mostly been just dreams of mine.
Awesome. Yeah. And you have some very good music out. So, 2018, you have Heavy Load and Might Be My Buck. So, Heavy Load is, I mean, both songs are great. And then 2020, you came out with the Southern Noise EP. You got Dad's Old Ford, Cope, Not This Time, Before I Met You, and Southern Noise. So Dad's Old Ford, Cope, and Before I Met You are my top three. And I think I don't want to go, speak for you, but I think Before I Met You has been your biggest hit so far. You got a YouTube video and tons of hits. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then 2019, you have the song Burn. So those are my top songs that I am talking about previously. And then
Mhm.
you recently came out with One About the Devil, and that's your newest single that came out
Yep,
in 2021.
yep.
So tell us a little bit about the Southern Noise EP. What inspired you to write some of those songs? Dad's Old Ford, Before I Met You. Um,
Yeah.
and
Well, with when COVID happened, we had to like kind of scale back. We were playing a lot of gigs. I was doing a lot of covers too, and it's always been my dream to be more of an original artist. So took some of that downtime to really start writing and making some music. And some of the songs are like really about my life, and some of them are more of like me and like a character's perspective. Like so, they're a little fictitious. But I just like to tell a story through my music, and I like to do a lot of wordplay and a lot of like underlying meanings. So there's like it can mean different things to different people depending on how you listen to it. So I try to put a little bit of effort into structuring them that way. But yeah, Before I Met You was the first love song I ever wrote, and the only one I've ever wrote. But I wrote that for my wife, and that one's done pretty good. And Southern Noise is probably my favorite one off that album. The title track, it's heavily influenced by like Leonard Skinner and other Southern rock. So we got to really cut loose on that one. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, man, it was a good way to get some energy out, get some experience in the studio. We got the 5-song EP, and we'll probably pick from it later on, songs we want to revisit and maybe add them to a full length album or something. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it did.
All right, with and then One About the Devil, obviously your newest release. So looking into the future, do you have plans for a full length album coming out in the near future, or?
So when we released One About the Devil, it far surpassed anything we put out in the past, including the Southern Noise EP. And we also had similar success with Burn, the one we released a few years ago as a single. So we've kind of learned over the last couple of years that at our level, with the size of our fan base, it's it works better for us to put out singles than it does a compilation right now. But in the future, I'd love to put out a full length. Like if we get to a point where that would make more sense. But right now, trying to get a little bit more recognition and trying to get the music out there a little more, putting singles out seems to be working better with everybody on streaming platforms like Spotify and stuff. So they just go search a song and play it. That seems to be the way people are listening to music now versus listening to a whole piece of uh, album
Right.
from front to
Yep.
back. So
Way of the future. So
yeah,
so Billboard actually recognized you, which is a huge deal for One About the Devil. Um,
yeah,
and they wrote a little article about you and one of their vlogs. Probably the wrong terminology, but I call them the vlogs. But
yeah,
yeah, how was that experience? I mean, that's huge. Like Billboard is like the biggest
yeah,
name, Billboard Top 100 stuff, like, they have all kinds of top charts and things like that, and to be recognized by them and have a little a little bit about you and the song in Billboard. I mean, I've
yeah,
I mean, I'm like shocked, for not shocked, but I'm ecstatic for you, so I can only
yeah.
imagine how you feel. So tell us a little bit about that and how that made you feel. And yeah, because I mean, I'd be crapping my pants.
I was, and I still am a little bit. Yeah, it was awesome. So we released One About the Devil with a music video, full theatrical music video, full production, that we all did ourselves. My lead guitarist Jared is also a videographer, so he took on that task of filming the whole thing and editing it. Everything we did ourselves, tried to do it top quality. And we released it on a couple days before Halloween. And if you've watched the video, it's supposed to be a bit spooky, and so we kind of played off of that, and it really worked out. We caught the algorithms on YouTube and everything, and it just had like crazy success really fast. It got played in over 90 countries. It got played on a couple radio stations in other countries. And yeah, so when that started like gaining views, like the first day was like, 11,000 views, and the next day was like 26,000 views. And I was like, holy crap. Um, and then next thing you know, I get an email from one of my publicist guys from Milestone, that CMT wants to include the music video on their website. And then as soon as I said yes to that, I got another email like back to back that said, okay, Billboard wants to include a write up on it and post a music video on their website. And I was like, whoa,
That's
like
huge.
that's
Yeah.
just insane. Like I still can't believe it that it happened the same day. I mean, the previous year, when I put out the Southern Noise EP, we got some recognition from some big names. American Songwriter said that I was one of their favorite songwriters of the year, and so that really was a good boost for us. And then getting Billboard and CMT in the same day was just insane. So yeah, uh, I, I think it just goes to show like hard work pays off. Like we kind of put our nose to the grindstone. We put the effort in to make real good music, and then did all the effort to do this music video and put it all out as independent artists. And it goes to show what you can accomplish when you put your mind to it.
Absolutely. And one of the pictures I saw, you're sitting in a chair, you got the pistol, and you're out. Almost looks like the sand flats, and it just looked like a total badass in that picture. I just want to say that that's probably my
Thank
favorite
you.
picture. Like just bam, like So, um, so what is Tell us a little bit about the story behind One About the Devil. If I'm correct, it's about breaking like generational curses and things like that. So tell the listeners, kind of the story behind that song.
Yeah, so it obviously is a little bit based on the old Robert Johnson story of meeting the devil at the crossroads, but I wanted to put my own spin on it, and a spin of you know, willing to sacrifice some um, habits and you know, generational things that are passed down to sacrifice yourself in a way to make things anew and to break the cycle and to stop the curse. And you know, my family's kind of been plagued with some alcoholism and some abuse things, so really tried to take a stand against it and put a change to it from my generation forward. So that song was me saying, you know, I'm not running from the devil. I'm going to face him face to face, and I'm going to do whatever means necessary to fix these things and to stop them for future generations, even if it kills me. So that's basically like the message of the song and the message of the video too, that plays even more into it. Each person in the music video represents a version of me in a different time, like a different era. So you notice like some of the outfits are from like the 1700s and the 1800s, and so it's just supposed to be representative of the demons of my past and putting them to rest.
And if I'm correct, you're going on 2 years of sobriety.
Yes, sir.
Round of applause for that. So breaking
Thank
the
you.
generational curse, as he just spoke about. So 2 years of sobriety. So congratulations on that. So folks, if you have any questions for Cody, go ahead and throw them in the chat. We'll get him to answer some of these questions. So Cody is a country music sensation out of Florida, Florida man. So for those of you just joining us, thank you for coming in, and do not hesitate to ask some questions. So what is your um, favorite aspect of writing the songs? What favorite aspect, and then the aspect that you like the least? So pros and cons, essentially, of songwriting.
I really like the satisfying feeling once something's done. So to me, it's always been mind blowing. Like even that I can do it, to pull something from nothing, to think of an idea and then create it. And I think a lot of songwriters feel the same way, and that's what inspires me. It's just the idea of creating that from nothing. So that's always like my favorite part. If I have an idea and boom, I put it on paper and sing a melody, and whoa, I just created a song. Like that, the beauty of that's not lost on me ever. As many times as I do it, I think that's amazing. As far as the aspects I don't like, I don't know. Going back and forth with the band or the producers of like what we should or shouldn't include in it as far as musical parts, or maybe not agreeing on it. But you know, we usually get that stuff worked out. So I mean, it's just part of the process. I don't think there's anything I really dislike about it. It's work and it's effort, but it's so worth it.
Yeah. See, and I don't, I things have popped in my head. Not that I'm a songwriter or anything, but I like to dabble in different things. So there's times that I'll something will come in my head, and I'm like, all right, this is a good idea, and then I'll sit on it, and then I like squirrel. I'm like, all right, well, I lost I got one line, but now I got to figure out the rest of them. So we actually have a really good question in the chat. So, how do you feel your sobriety connected with the listeners who are also in recovery, or connects with the listeners?
Um, it's funny. I mean, I still feel kind of new into it. I drank for a long time, and then I got to be a problem. And then some things happened where I said I got to make a change, and I had to stop. Um, and it wasn't necessarily that difficult for me to stop. I don't know if I'd say I was addicted. I just had an unhealthy relationship with it. I was partying too much, and so I haven't really thought about the connection that it might have with other people. But I appreciate you making that point, because it's kind of like a light bulb going off. Like, hey, like maybe my sobriety is helping other people too. It's something I hadn't really thought of. But there's a lot of, especially in country music, there's a lot of songs about drinking, and I've even got a couple out there that I released before I got sober. But it just seems to be so in your face all the time. Like you're weird if you don't drink all the time, and I don't know. There's a lot deeper stuff in life to do and think and to write about. And so when I got sober, it motivated me to write music with deeper meaning. And then you get one about the devil, which obviously is much deeper than say coke. So that which was about abusing substances that I don't use anymore. So it's even kind of awkward to play that song anymore. But yeah, I mean, I hope that I can continue to inspire people to get sober and to maybe not follow social norms of going into early alcoholism. I think it's sad that uh, it's our societal norm that as soon as you're of college age or whatever, you just start pounding drinks. And I think that it can lead down a destructive path if you're not careful. I mean, not
Right.
everybody, but yeah. So
Yeah, and I get what you're saying there. So I had my first beer when I was 13. Um, for my grandfather gave me my first beer. That kind of
yeah.
how it happens. And like you, I wasn't addicted, and I still drink on occasion, but I was using it to cope with other mental health issues. So that was kind of my coping mechanism. I would go out and party and have a good time, and I would forget at the time about any anxiety or stress or anything like that. And then it kind of bites you in the end and comes back tenfold.
Yeah.
So I really focused on my mental health for some time, and got my mental health correct. And I know you're with MVK Music Group, and they have MVK Cares, so which they're extremely big on mental health as well.
Mhm.
So that's good to see that the mental health push isn't as taboo as it used to be, and it's more talked about and more prevalent in our society, other than back when I was a kid, you rub dirt on it and you go about your way, and
Yep.
don't be a sissy. So it's much more talked about, and
Mhm.
so is there something you'd be interested in to collaborate with other music artists also in recovery? And that was a question from the chat.
Oh, absolutely. I'm always looking for a good collab. And if it's for a good cause, even better. I mean, at this point, I've been given this platform, and we've built this platform, and why not use it for good? If I'm on a mission to better myself, and be the best version of myself I can be, then I'll do anything I can to inspire other people around me to be the best version of themselves so they can be.
Yep, and the one about the devil kind of hits home as well. Especially with the alcoholism. Um, My grandfather was an amazing human, but he could literally drink a 24 pack of Bud, and it was like water to him. It didn't even
Hmm.
affect him, at that point, because he was, so used to drinking. And then unfortunately, yeah, it did some liver damage and dialysis, and since passed away. So there's always a con to that kind of lifestyle. So
Yeah.
that's kind of opened my eyes as well, as far as at the time you don't think about the consequences, but when you get older, yeah, your body is not the same. So definitely different.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and
so
if you
it's
know me, you know my music, you know my way of thinking is I like to be different than everybody else. I like to make my country music different. I like to do everything my own way, and if the crowd's going one way, I'm going the opposite. It's just the way I am, and that's why it works out good with MBK Music Group. I think it's shortened for that's shortened to Maverick because that's
yep,
that's kind of how they do things, and I kind of had the epiphany that I was like that with drinking. Like, it's all cool. Like, it's cool if you can chug a bottle of whiskey. It's cool if you can go to the bar till 3 a.m. every night and feel like crap all the time. And
right,
I just said, hey, you know what? What's more badass than doing my own thing that everybody else thinks is weird and being confident in myself and bettering myself? So,
absolutely,
it's not to be egotistical, but I do feel like it gives me an advantage to life to now be of clear mind. And
right,
so
absolutely. Um, so yeah, I lost my train of thought there. With you were very you should be a motivational speaker, because I got intrigued there for a moment. So, um, for
maybe when I'm retired
right.
from music.
So, what has been the biggest obstacle for the band as of now?
um, Honestly, probably keeping a steady flow of shows. Like we were starting to get real busy right before COVID started. I don't want to keep harping on the COVID thing. I'm over it, but it's when we started losing shows, and then now the guys that were at maybe a level above us are taking shows that we would have got, and now the only shows available for us are shows that we're not really set up to do anymore because we're not a cover band anymore, and this and that. So it kind of has put a strain on things. We've lost a couple of band members and replaced band members over it because they want to be a steady working band making money. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, the ultimate goal, would be able to make this our living. But at the same time, like, it's a creative project for me. And I have a job outside of this to pay my bills. So I, I'm never relying on it to be my income. I'm doing it just purely for the passion of it. And so so seeing eye to eye with people on that, and then trying to get shows going has been kind of a struggle. So we kind of just made the decision not to chase shows. Like, we're just going to keep putting out music videos with it, build the audience more, and when people really want to see us live, they'll start asking us more. So at least that's the way I figure it's going to be. So trying to take more of like a Sturgill Simpson approach to things and just work on getting my music right, and then one day the fans will come. So that's where we're at.
And like you said, you've had some major success with One About the Devil. And it's all, I don't want to categorize your music or your genre, but you have that Southern rock, country vibe in some, in the song. So that's also, it's a little bit of rocky, a little bit of, a little bit of rock, a little bit of country.
Mhm.
So, and that's right up my alley. So I'm a big fan of the Cadillac Three. They're kind of
Mhm.
southern rock country. Um, so what are some of your major, as growing up and even now, what are some of your major uh, musical influences, such as artists? Leonard Skinner, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've got a heavy rock influence. So, my parents and everybody, around me, I grew up listening to AC/DC and Guns N' Roses and uh, all the other ones, everybody. So I'm heavily influenced by them. And then also, I always really liked bluegrass and like old classic country, like Merle and Waylon. They were always my dad's favorites, so they were my favorites. And then my first concert, I saw John Anderson in concert when I was like 6 years old. So I remember that to this day, sitting on my dad's shoulders watching John Anderson sing "Seminole Wind." So, which we even do a cover of "Seminole Wind" that's pretty metal. We may release it one day.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, just a mix of everything that I like. Um, the modern stuff. I mean, I'm into a lot of modern stuff too. I love the Brothers Osborne. I love the Steelwoods. You'll hear some Brothers Osborne influence in our next song, "New Suede Boots." It's a little bit more on the funky side. Kind of sounds like an old Nashville jam, but it's got some funky bass lines in it. Stuff. Fun song. So um, man, I don't have specific, like, I can't say this person's my biggest inspiration. I love music. I love all kinds of music, and I pull
Right.
from it what I like. So
Yep, and that's how I am as well. I've,
mhm,
I grew up with Pantera, with my dad, Ted Nugent, um, and all kinds of, Korn, Rob Zombie, Tool, Garth Brooks,
mhm,
and I'm kind of upset because Garth Brooks just played Orlando, and I didn't get to go see him this time. It's been 2016, I think it was the last time I saw him,
mhm.
but he is the goat to me in country, contrary to some people would say Alan Jackson or George Strait, but for me, Garth Brooks is the goat. So
He's definitely an entertainer, man.
yeah,
It's
he,
for me. I'm more of a George Strait guy, but hey, I like Garth too, and the man can entertain. He knows how to put on a show.
yeah, most definitely, and he does the circle stage.
Mhm.
And so there's no bad view where you're at, and he fully embraces it, and you know, works the whole stage. And when I saw him with Trisha, it was we had a hurricane coming up the coast, so he was supposed to play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So he had 4 shows in Orlando.
Mhm.
So the hurricane was kind of like, they don't know where it's going. Then it's off the coast a little bit, so they ended up
Hmm.
canceling Thursday and Friday, and then the hurricane stayed off of just off the coast, so it really didn't affect us much. So he
Hmm.
did double shows Saturday and Sunday. So I had the early show Saturday because I was supposed to be, I think, Friday night show. Um, so he played for about 2.5 hours, and I mean, he gives it his all. I mean, this man was
Right.
drenched in sweat and just like loving life, playing music. And then I had a friend go to the Sunday night show, which was the last show, and he
Hmm.
played for like 4 hours straight. So
Wow.
I was a little not upset, but I'm like, dang, I got 2.5 hours and you guys got four. I was like,
Yeah.
man,
I
so
mean, that sounds exhausting to me. Like I can't imagine playing for that long in front of a crowd like that. But I mean, the dude can the dude's a goat, like you said. He's an entertainer. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and two,
And I go back and watch his old videos when he's flying around on the cables and fire and everything. I'm like, dang, like that's sick. So you
yeah,
know,
and I
I
remember,
I watch
sorry,
videos. I'm sorry. Yeah, I watch videos of like him and I should bring them up anyway. But Foo Fighters, they're one of my big inspirations too. I've always been a huge Foo Fighters fan. Yeah, rest in peace, Taylor.
right, Rip
What a
Taylor,
heartbreaking thing. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes before I go on stage, I'll watch Garth or I'll watch the Foo Fighters or somebody who I like how they perform, and I'll get hyped up watching them, and I'll take little notes. Oh, I can dance this way, or I can do this or that,
right.
and so I kind of take notes from because I'm kind of an awkward guy. I get up on stage, I'm nervous, and I don't know, I'm not a very extroverted person. So yeah, so I'll take notes from them, and I try to do my thing, man.
And another story I have, we saw Ted Nugent at the Allegan County Fair, and his thing or his staple, obviously he's a big bow hunter, so he would always light a an arrow on fire, and he'd have a target at the top of the stage, and he'd shoot the flaming arrow, at the, up to the target. So that was pretty cool, especially when you're young and you're like, oh, probably not as cool now that we're older and understand things, but when you're a kid and you see someone shooting like a flaming arrow at a target on stage, I mean, it is pretty
Oh
cool.
hell yeah,
So,
yeah, Uncle Ted.
but yeah, Old Fred Bear and Cat Scratch Fever. My dad played that so much. I mean, it's instilled in my brain. Like I'll never forget those songs. So,
Yep.
and then Cowboy, what is it? Cowboy to Hell from Pantera. And yeah, so many memories of some good music from
Yeah.
back in the day. And so you said you have blue suede shoes coming up soon. No release date yet, but
Right. It's new suede boots.
new suede boots.
It's kind of a play off of new suede shoes, but yeah, it's new suede boots.
Don't ask me why
Um,
blue suede shoes came in my head, but
it
yes,
sounds similar,
right.
and that's kind of on purpose too. So yeah, but yeah, so that's going to be a fun jam. It's actually a story about a guy having an introspective journey of changing his lifestyle too. So it's kind of a follow up to one about the devil on a lighter note. So the music video is going to be funny. I'm going to be dressed up as like an astronaut, so it's going to be a fun time.
And if you need anyone with assless chaps or someone kind of odd and funny at the same time, let me know. I'll come down and
Perfect.
do something stupid for you. I'll light myself on fire or who knows. But so we're gonna play a round of what the fuck. So these are random questions. Um, I don't know. Cody doesn't know. It's gonna randomly populate, and we're gonna put him on the spot and get his answer for it. So,
All right,
first
let's do
question:
it.
what would be the creepiest thing you could say while passing a stranger on the street?
Oh man.
Yeah, that one's kind of hard. That's not really like a what the fuck question, but I
Yeah,
mean,
I'd probably just say like, "What took you so long?"
right? That was.
And just tell me like, "Huh?" Yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever been arrested? If so, for what? You don't have to answer that. We can move forward if you want.
I haven't. I've been in handcuffs, but I didn't end up getting booked,
Okay.
and it was for fighting.
Okay. All right. You badass, you. All right.
Mm, Got to do it sometimes.
Have you ever been electrocuted?
I mean, yeah, not like seriously, like where it injured me, but I was when I was a kid, I was walking by our above ground pool that we had because we were real white trash like that, and there was a 4x4 post with a wire that my dad, I guess, had hit with the lawnmower that was part of the pool pump, and I didn't know, and I walked by and it hit my leg and it threw me in the air.
Oh, nice.
So
Uh,
that was the worst one I ever got.
yeah, we were dumb when we were young, so we actually tried peeing on the electric fence. Yeah, don't do that. And then I remember we had some hogs, and we had one of the electric wires close to the ground, and me and my buddy took turns stepping on it to see how long we could hold our foot on that. Yeah, so we were dumb kids, but hey, we
Yeah.
made it. Who is the most famous person you have ever met?
Hmm. I met Jordan B. Peterson recently. So
Okay.
he's pretty huge. He's not a musician, obviously, but that I mean that's probably the most famous person that I've met as far as music goes. I met and opened for Easton Corbin. That was a big one.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and we're going to change this deck up because this is not what the fuck questions. So we're going to do a couple of this or that.
Okay.
Yeah, because that the what the fuck doesn't ring a bell. It's not as crazy as I
It's
thought
like
it
the
would be.
ultimate. It's like the ultimate troll. Now they've got us saying what the fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
um, Salvation Army or Goodwill, and why?
Oh, uh, Goodwill because it's right down the road from my house. I don't know if we got a Salvation Army nearby.
Okay. Four-door car and two-door car, or two-door car. Why?
I've got a Mustang, so I'm going two door car. I'm a muscle car guy, coupe guy.
Okay. I'm going four-door truck. So that would be
Yeah.
my
Well, if we're
ultimate.
talking truck, my daily driver's an F-350 four door, so I got a four door
Okay.
truck, but my car is a two door.
Okay. Um, would you rather have an entourage or a crew?
Oh man, a crew for sure. You got to have people that are actually on your corner, not just ones you were paying.
Right. Yep. Definitely would rather have a strong team than people I got to pay. So,
Yeah.
and this will be the last one. Marilyn Monroe or Madonna?
Marilyn Monroe.
I'm
I
going,
like
yeah,
I
I'm
like
going,
them thighs.
right. She was way hotter. And,
Yeah.
she was a freak back in that time. So, yep. Marilyn Monroe can get it all day long.
Four
So,
doors for more whores, Justin
right.
says.
Um, and so actually, yeah, speaking of that, I got to order the shirt. So Tony from Rebel Den Cycle Supply up in Arkansas, he just did a motorcycle shirt. So it has the motorcycle engine and it says "Big bores, more whores." So yeah, that'd be kind of. I mean, it's funny, something I'd
Yeah.
wear because I'm halfway crazy. But
Yeah.
and Justin has a question: most memorable gig and why?
Oh, good question. We talked about this a little bit the other day, but I'll talk about it again. We opened for Hardy a year or two ago. I actually opened for him a couple of times, which was awesome both times because obviously Hardy's getting huge and he packed out the venues. But there was a show we were playing. It was about 1,200 people packed into the ranch down in Fort Myers, and I was opening. I was debuting a song called Yellow Note that I wrote for my buddy David, who committed suicide a few years ago. And it was the first time I'd ever played it in front of people, and I haven't released it yet. It's coming out in like September this year. Um, but I was playing it, and I got to the second chorus, and I got a little choked up. I had to step away from the mic and wipe my eyes a little bit, and it was something I was scared was going to happen, and of course it happened. I got emotional during the song, and so I stepped back and I pulled my in ear off, and the whole crowd was singing the chorus, and they had only heard half the song. So it was which made me cry even more because then I hear everybody singing my song that they just heard for the first time, and yeah, it was gut wrenching and haunting, but beautiful at the same time, and something I'll never forget.
Yeah, and I admire that in your music. You actually, there's a lot of purpose in your music as well.
Yeah.
Um, so all right. So we are at that time, or we are going to let Cody Weaver go. He's extremely busy. As you heard, he's working on some new music. Definitely check out One About the Devil. You can check that out on YouTube.
Mhm.
Cody, where else can we find you at?
All social medias, you can find me at Cody Weaver Music. My website is codyweaverofficial.com. We got some cool merch on there. Just want to remind everybody we don't make much money off the streams. So if you buy a t-shirt or something, it's like streaming our song 3,000 times. So go on there and get you a t-shirt. We got some cool stuff. And sign up for the newsletter because we got 2 new singles coming out definitely this year, and possibly a couple of covers that I'd like to release. So stay in the loop and follow me on the journey.
Awesome. And it's been a pleasure having you on the show, version 2. We did it correct this time. So that's a plus. And we will speak soon. And remember, folks, keep it sloppy. And any final words from you, Cody?
Hey, always appreciate your time, brother, and appreciate everybody listening and asking good questions.
All right. And we will see you on the next episode of the Sloppy Syndicate.